So it seems like that break for Caitlin Clark has really paid its dividends, hasn't it? Because last night against the Phoenix Mercury, Caitlin Clark was electrifying out there. 29 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. But when you're watching her play, the game looks a lot slower out there for her. And usually it takes more time for a rookie to adjust, but in a span of 3 months, Caitlin Clark is looking better and better each game. To me, she's the best player for the Indiana Fever. Aaliyah Boston, great. Kelsey Mitchell, she's good at her role, but without Caitlin Clark, the Fever are not a playoff team whatsoever. One of the things that I love about Caitlin Clark, she always has her head up the whole game. She's looking ahead to make a play or drive to the rim. And when she gets the ball out of bounds, she's looking to push and create opportunities. So there were moments where the Mercury were slow to get back, and Caitlin Clark got the ball and just pushed, ran, and just blew by her defenders. And if you're not paying attention to Caitlin Clark and what she's trying to do, you're going to get burnt on the other side. And it just seems like at this point, whatever defensive scheme you're going to come up with, it's not going to work. She's probably seen every defensive scheme against her this season, and nothing's working anymore. Her first step is unstoppable. She can blow by you with ease. There was a moment in the game where she had to get off the ball, and she acted like she was going to cut. She just stepped back out, faked her defender out, and got an easy 3-point shot. She had another moment where Aaliyah Boston set a screen, and Griner gave her too much space, and Caitlin Clark just swished it in. And the more Caitlin Clark gets comfortable with the WNBA, the more of a problem she's going to become. The game is looking easier out there for her, and it's just not even fair anymore. Just some fourth quarter numbers here: 8 points, 4 assists. She was just in control during that fourth quarter. I know she had 5 turnovers, but 4 of those came in the game where Dantas was in to play with Caitlin Clark, and they just don't have any chemistry. And it was a span of I think 3 or 4 minutes where she was just turning the ball over. So obviously Dantas doesn't do a good job of spacing or getting position to score. When it comes to Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark as a duo, they're going to be one of the best duos very, very soon, because Aaliyah Boston makes the game so much easier for Caitlin Clark. She drifts off screens really well. She gets to her spots, and at the free throw line, they play a really good game of pick and roll action. And you just see how much easier it is for Caitlin Clark to get the ball to Aaliyah Boston versus a player like Dantas, who doesn't know what she's doing at times. But that's more of the Indiana Fever not having a strong bench, in my opinion. In the fourth quarter, there was a pass where Clark had to throw it around 2 defenders, and Taurasi was coming in to try to strip the ball from Boston, but she put the ball in a perfect spot for Boston to catch it and get a layup. It was just beautiful to watch. And then Clark had another great assist in the fourth quarter where, someone was setting a screen. She could have thrown it into Boston, but she decided to throw it over the top to Mitchell in the corner, and she just splashed it for a 3. There's another moment where Caitlin Clark, she drove to the lane. She could have gotten a layup around Griner. She saw Mitchell cutting in, and easy layup again. What Caitlin Clark is realizing is, hey, you can get physical with me. You can play up on me. You can play off of me. I'm going to cook you all day long. It just looks easier for Caitlin Clark. And as the Fever have been building chemistry and getting better night in and night out, Clark has been picking up on defensive schemes and blitzes, and you just can't do anything out there. She'll push the ball, and if you're slow to get back, she'll burn you. She had plays where she would just get by her defender for an easy layup and recognize that she had that leeway. There are other times where she had to make the right pass and the right read. But it just seems like Caitlin Clark is getting better with her mental game, recognizing opportunities, and just not wasting them at all. I thought Aaliyah Boston was key in this game, outplaying Brittany Griner at 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, plus 16 out there. She outplayed Griner, and that was a big part of why the Fever won this game. My only criticism for the Fever is when they have a big lead, they lose it when the defense goes zone. It just seems like they're stagnant. They don't know what to do. I think size needs to get better at running plays during a zone defense so the Fever aren't stagnant and the team doesn't get back in the game. I also noticed that Dantas and Wheeler came during a stretch. And I think the Mercury were down 11 points, and they got the lead right back. Thank God Samuelson was big down the stretch. Boston and Clark were big down the stretch. But it's another example of why the Fever need a bench and figure out how to play better offense when the defense goes zone on them, because they still haven't figured that out yet. So that would be my only gripe with the Indiana Fever, is to find a way to have some better plays out there. Again, shout out to Kelsey Mitchell. She was really good in this game, 28 points. I think she was 6 of 13 from 3. Without those shots, the Fever aren't winning this game. We got to be honest here. But she was huge for them. Again, when she's hot, she's fantastic. When she's cold, she isn't so good. She's just a bucket getter. But you need that on your team. So Mitchell was solid. I don't think she is the right piece long term, but I still think you need to keep her for the Fever. I don't think you need to lose her in the offseason. She needs to come back, because if you lose that contribution, the Fever are going to suffer on offense next year, because they can just either double Boston or double Clark, and it'll be easier to guard the Fever. Two things that I really loved about Caitlin Clark tonight as well. Free throw attempts. She was 9 of 10. You get 10 attempts in a basketball game. That shows me you're able to get to the rim easier. You're able to handle physical contact. She has some A1 finishes where she was pushing the pace. They weren't able to keep up with her. That first step from Caitlin Clark, you're just not stopping it. When she goes downhill, good luck stopping her. And she's able to figure out what the defense is doing. She's driving to the basket with confidence and handling the physicality. Clark is leveling up. She just is fantastic out there. The second thing is the three-point attempts. I love that she took 11 attempts tonight, because that shows me she's not losing confidence. She shot 4 of 11, which is 36%. The league average in the WNBA, I believe, is about 35%. So she's above the average. If she gets to 38 to 40%, good luck stopping her, because you're cooked if she's hitting 6 or 7 a night. The league is going to be in huge trouble. And the defense isn't going to know what to do out there. So this was the perfect return for Caitlin Clark. After that long break, people were talking about, why wasn't she at the Olympics? It's all good. She's back. She was phenomenal out there, electrifying. And if the Fever do make the playoffs, and even if they get bounced out of the first round, it's already a huge win for their team, because they were 13-27 last year. They're 12-15. They had that terrible start at 1-8. And to see them getting better and better game in and game out, it just shows you they're growing. They're loving playing together. And I think they get a better bench. The Indiana Fever are going to be a serious problem with Caitlin Clark leading the charge next season. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Caitlin Clark's performance versus Phoenix Mercury. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.